yi ñoo lay jàppale.
lu tax ñu daje mooy waxtaanee mbiri dëkk bi cosaan léeg jaaxle yi fi nekk ak yëpp ak niñ doon dundee ba jëkk.
nañ sàkku jàmm nañ sàkku jàmm nañ sàkku jàmm wallaahi.
It's noon in Banjul, and from Grts, this is News Force. We begin with the headlines. The highly anticipated musical jamboree, which was supposed to be held this evening at the July 22nd Square, is cancelled in preparation for the holy month of Ramadan. President Jammeh to host Quranic recitation, Azan and Zikar competition at State House grounds this evening. Vice President Jai Saidi, two female presidents and several first ladies recently descended on the Nigerian capital Abuja to review and identify strategies to accelerate key post-2015 development issues. Feeling the backlash in the streets of Cairo, thousands of pro-Morsi protesters show their disapproval of the Obama administration's laid-back response to the coup that unseated the country's first-ever democratically elected president. And the Mandela family feud exposes skeletons in the revered family's cupboard, including the current condition of their ailing patriarch. These and other stories come here this hour. I am Aisha Romane. Thank you for joining us. After successfully completing his dialogue with the People Tour, His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Haji Dr. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh, Thursday convened a meeting with cabinet ministers, service chiefs, and head of institutions and staff of the Office of the President who took part in the tour. President Jammeh seized the opportunity to thank all those who successfully took part in the tour, while urging people to embrace agriculture by growing what they eat and eating what they grow. Abdul Njai reports.
Counting the success of the dialogue with the People Tour, much to the inspirational role of these heads of institutions, departments and groups singled out at this special ceremony at State House. The tour was one undertaking required by law, but was also the President's personal objective to meet regularly with the people to discuss issues bordering on national development. He has embarked on so many similar tours the past 18 years, but the recently concluded tour was special in so many ways.
Population in responding to the meeting, everybody did his best. This is what we expect of Gambians. The importance of the tour is to make sure that we know the immediate needs of the populace and also to convey to them what government's policy is going to be, because every year is a different year. And to answer to their questions or demands with regards to nation building. With regards to crowds, it remained almost the same, not in terms of size and numbers, but in terms of composition. The women and youth have already been the majority.
His discourse revolved around the need for attitudinal change with regards to farming, preaching the virtues of responsibility and respect for our cultural norms and traditional values. He unveiled before the jam-packed cabinet meeting room plans to take farming to another level, relying on the abundant groundwater the country is endowed with.
We have the rainfall, but the objective this time is not to depend on rainfall and the freshwater part of the river Gambia solely for agriculture. But we have groundwater that we can use for irrigation purposes in all regions of this country. So that with irrigation systems, we are certain that we can at least have 2 harvests a year. Taking the last episode of bad rainfall pattern as an example, you will realize that the bulk of the food aid went to that part of the river Gambia where people grow crops 3 times a year. And that is mainly the CRR. And I was a little bit skeptical when the bulk of the food aid was going to CRR when they have the freshwater part of the river Gambia where they would use that irrigation.
Determined to sustain the momentum, the Gambian leader announced that he may tour the country for the second time this year, possibly around September, exploring available markets for farmers' produce and what needs to be done to advance the overall objective of not only attaining food self-sufficiency, but also reaching export status.
And with the world trend today, where we are seeing that food is being used as a weapon, it is safer to make sure that you grow your own food, or grow what you eat what you grow. As far as the government is concerned, this is one priority, because even if Gambia were to become the world's leading exporter of petroleum, if nobody is going to sell food to you, I don't think you can also use petroleum to drink it. If you are not careful, there will come a time when people will have the money, and if you depend entirely on imports, you'll have the money and you'll have nothing to buy. It is practically impossible. Because we have seen around the world very strange weather phenomena, natural disasters, flooding, and especially in major agricultural producers of basic commodities.
Wrapping up, the president warned against the setting up of self-appointed associations without due processes, especially those dealing with the sensitive issues of enforcement. The Vice President, Her Excellency Ajah Dr. Isatunjai Saidi, joined the discussion, expressing happiness at the overwhelming public support rendered to the President's Dialogue with the People tour. The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Fatlamin Fai, the Lord Mayor of the KMC, Yankuba Koli, who doubles as the APRC National Mobilizer, and the Women Mobilizer, Ajah Dejata, all spoke at the ceremony. Abdunjai, GRTS.
The Office of the President informs the general public that following the earlier press release on the state of the Dalasi vis-à-vis other currencies, the ban on the shipment of foreign currency is hereby lifted with immediate effect. Meanwhile, in preparation for the holy month of Ramadan, the general public is hereby informed that the highly anticipated musical jamboree, which was supposed to be staged this evening at the July 22nd Square, has been cancelled. Accordingly, the general public is being informed by the Quranic recitations, Azan and Zikr competition at 5 p.m. onwards this evening at the State House grounds. On behalf of our transmission and production crew, GRTS wishes its audience Ramadan Mubarak in advance. Hundreds of influential women leaders, including 2 female African presidents, the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Ajah Dr. Isatunjai Saidi, several First Ladies and parliamentarians recently gathered in the Nigerian capital to review and identify strategies to accelerate and consider key post-2015 issues. The high-level gathering was the second of its kind to be organized by the Global Power Women Network Africa. Famara Fofana has details in this report.
The Global Power Women Network in Abuja was conceived a year ago in Harare, Zimbabwe, where the maiden event was first held. The young but increasingly influential network has the objective of advancing innovative game-changing approaches that impact positively on the lives of women and girls. The high-level convergence held by many as historic also came at a time when a critical mass of women are manning key positions on the continent, even though their participation in societal affairs is said to be limited compared to their male counterparts. In our opening statement, the President of Liberia and Grand Patron of the Global Power Women Network Africa, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, acknowledged the gains scored in the march towards attaining the Millennium Development Goals. The Liberian leader, however, noted that there still remains some unfinished business. Thokozani Kupe is the outgoing president of the Global Power Women Network Africa. The woman doubling as Deputy Prime Minister of Zimbabwe spoke on the activities conducted by her organization.
Since the inauguration of the Global Power Women Network Africa, we have managed to take the Global Power Women agenda to the United Nations through CSW. We have held side meetings